I've been stealing from self-checkout for years, and no one suspects a thing. About 5 years ago, I realized how easy it was to miss scanning something at self-checkout. The first time, it was an accident. I genuinely forgot to scan a case of water on the bottom of my cart. Nothing happened. No alarm, no one came to talk to me. The next time wasn't an accident. I told myself it was just a big corporation and it didn't matter. I started small. A pack of batteries, a bottle of shampoo. I was careful. I'd scan most items and forget one. Never enough to look obvious. Over time, it became less about the money and more about the rush. Seeing the total lower than it should be. Walking past the receipt checker with a straight face. Acting normal. The wild part is that I can afford what I was stealing. I'm not struggling. I just justified it because I could. No one in my life would ever guess I did this. I look stable, honest, and responsible. I stopped doing it a few months ago because I finally realized that I didn't like who I was becoming. Someone who needed to get away with something just to feel a thrill. They'll never know, but I do. Is there a way I can make things right with the store or more importantly with myself without getting into serious trouble?
First it's like, stealing's wrong, stealing's bad. I get the whole thought and thread of mega corporations and how much we feel that we are being ripped off by either rising prices and the shrinking sizes of the products, paying more for less. And it's rough, but it is something that everybody is going through, not just this one individual person. But what it made me think of, and they started getting to it near the end, was why do they feel that they needed to do that? Like, what was it giving them beyond the thrill? Because obviously, or not obviously, but perhaps something was missing or is missing in their life. At the end, it's like, is there something that they can do? And they're going to stop. It sounds like they were going to stop. But that's the thing. It's like, it almost seems like there's something deeper. We've heard about like celebrities that get caught shoplifting or
Winona Ryder.
Exactly. That's the big one that I think that we kind of remember. But yeah, I think there's something deeper there that it sounds like they're willing to explore or get to. And maybe that's something that they need to talk to somebody about, maybe, a therapist or some kind of, even a friend or something.
Let me read a comment because I think this one is on point. At a high vibe level of consciousness, there is no other. If we are all part of the same energetic tapestry, stealing from someone else is effectively stealing from yourself. Your soul knows that true abundance is infinite. When you steal, you are acting from a lack mindset, believing there isn't enough for everyone. So that bad feeling is your higher self sounding an alarm because you acted in a way that denies the interconnectedness of humanity, the oneness of us all. You've created a tear in the fabric of your own integrity, and your spirit feels that disharmony immediately. Another point is that stealing creates an energetic debt. You got a result without the process. This leaves you with an object or a gain that carries the heavy energy of that theft. I thought that was pretty well said.
Very well said. Yeah, I think that nails it right there.
Yeah, the energetic debt is true because I really believe that deep down, even people who are scam artists, they know that that's disharmonious and they feel out of alignment because the more you do those things, you might for sure get the 3D gain, the physical material gain, but there's an emotional and spiritual component that continues to accrue some sort of debt. And it sort of erodes the soul's integrity. And I think you can see this on certain people's faces. Unfortunately, some people who might be categorized as sociopaths or psychopaths, they don't seem to have any emotional response to this. And that's just a complete lack of awareness or a disconnection with their higher self. But most people, like if you've seen somebody who constantly lies for themselves or on behalf of somebody else, you see this look in their eye and their face. There's something that starts to happen. They start to shrivel up. I'm happy that really is the case because it makes me feel like it proves there's an incentive for yourself to be more truthful and to not take from others. Again, like you said, it is one of the 10 commandments, thou shalt not steal. Golden rule. Would you want to bring home a brand new guitar and then have your neighbor break in and steal it, how terrible would you feel?
Mm-hmm.
What realistically should this guy do here? Because he can't go back to Target or CVS and say, hey, guys, here's a check for $1,000. Over the last 5 years, I've been stealing from you slowly.
That would definitely get him in trouble more.
Oh, yeah.
A realistic thing is just that he has to change that behavior. It just sucks that somebody would have to steal or would feel that they have to. Like whether it's, I don't have enough money for food, or like just the inequality in this country, the fact that, you know, people are going hungry. We don't have all that we feel we need just to survive sometimes. If it's really weighing on us all, I mean, there's so many different things that you could do to help your fellow man or to help, you know, there's food pantries. If you're taking from a grocery store, maybe there's a way that you can volunteer there.
Yeah, and I think that's really the key, making that little shift inside and then moving forward with that knowledge. By the way, I love like what Bernie Sanders says about this. He says, in the richest nation in the entire world history, the fact that people go hungry every day is a shame. So I do agree that that's something that we need to solve as a society. But hey, what about just paying fair wages? What about giving, you know, health insurance to people? Instead of fighting wars. What?
Preach. I'm with you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fairness. It's just when greed, and this is really, we're going through a situation where greed in this country is so out of control. And when I think of it from like sort of a spiritual perspective, it's like there is the concept of when you get something, you want to give it. I like to share what I have with friends, with family, with people. I don't want to hoard everything. It's not, you know, a certain amount of money.
When you have abundance, but that's because like when you have abundance, right? Yes. When people feel that they don't, when they feel that they're at a deficit and that their whole life has been at a deficit and that every angle, everything has been like against them, whether true or not. I mean, it could be perceived that way. You can kind of see their point of view and why they might strike back or why they might lash out or act out the way they do.
This guy said he didn't need to steal. He said he's in a good situation. It was just for the thrill. I totally give the leeway to other people. Two quick little stories. One was that when I was in Oregon in a hotel, they give you free breakfast at the Hyatts. Mm-hmm. So we're all just sitting in there, and it was dozens and dozens of people just getting breakfast. All of a sudden, this guy who was pretty clearly homeless just walks right in, big smile on his face, walks right through and just starts getting a whole bunch of food and just piles on 2 plates and just walks right out. And we're just like, nobody said a word to him, not the employees, not the people. It's almost just like, if you come in and you're out within 3 minutes, we're not going to miss what you just took.
Yeah, it's rough. Like you said, it's a lot of people in a big country, a rich country, a lot of inequality. You might act out like that. It doesn't mean it's the right way, but I can understand it.
So years ago when I was in high school, a friend of mine went to interview for a job at McDonald's. And one of the questions that the manager asked him was, he said, if it's late at night and you're about to close the store and a group of friends of yours drive up and ask for free fries or a free soda, what would you do? So now he thinks about this as a person. He's like, well, if it's late at night and we're about to close anyway, I'd probably just hook them up. But of course, the manager was looking for was, no way, that's stealing. Mm-hmm. Because that's how they see it. But it's so funny how somebody else, when you're younger and you're in high school, you're just like, I'm going to realistically be honest and think, it's late at night. My friend says, hey, can I get a free soda? Yeah, sure, whatever. We're closing anyway.
Or it's like a lot of fast food places are like donut shops, right? So it's like, what are they going to do at the end of the night? Just going to throw all those Big Macs in the trash, right? But I also get it's a business. So it's like, if that was the case, nobody would come in at dinner time. Everybody would come in at closing time. Again, we're back to mega corporations.
Yeah.
Hand over fist. Although sometimes these places are franchised out and owned. You know, the perception is it's like, oh, it's McDonald's. There's just like so much money. So it's like, what's the soda here? What's the soda there?
Obviously, they don't think it's worth that much because they're giving you free refills, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Are they still? It's been a while for me.
I think most of those kinds of places do.
They have the open drinks. Like you serve yourself. So
yeah, you serve yourself.
Kind of like the movie theaters too.
Exactly. You know, as we said, stealing is a literal frequency mismatch within your energy field. Plain and simple. You know, if you commit an act of thievery, it may result in short-term gain, material gain, but it definitely causes long-term spiritual loss. So keep that in mind next time you just want to steal a bottle of shampoo.